Right, Infernal Blessings. We are back with another video. Before I begin, let me just run through some announcements. 9th Annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference that will take place in late October, last month, right around what they call Halloween time. We'll have, again, I keep throwing it out there, we'll have the set date very soon. 4-day event of classes, workshops, rituals, fellowshipping. It's a great 4-day event for those that are on the path of the occult or the path of self-mastery. This will be our 9th straight year, believe it or not, doing it. So more to come on the itinerary, dates, times. We definitely will be having it at the same location, Cultural Expressions in Hollywood, Florida. That's the venue we've had it at the last few years. It looks like we'll be doing it again this year unless something changes, which I don't believe it will. So more to come on that soon. If you're interested in I offer various different types of spiritual readings, Sufi mystical readings, telepathic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings, which is always a great reading to do to, see what you got going on with the shadow and the hidden self. And it's really a helpful reading to see if you are trending in the right direction as far as what you need to be doing with your ritual work. Because as I've said before, ritual work should be designed first and foremost for your needs first before your wants. All right. Or maybe you're just interested in a spiritual consultation because you got a lot of questions about the occult or spirituality, or you want to focus on a specific area of interest. Any of the aforementioned, shoot me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. Please include in your email, very important, please include in your email your full availability on a weekly basis, okay? And please include the time zone that you live in, and we will find a day and time that works for both of us. Also, don't forget to check out the social media pages, Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook, and primordialchaos.com 3 on TikTok. Go to those social media pages, subscribe. That's going to keep you up to date on the latest happenings of what I'm doing here as far as classes, events, rituals, the whole nine. That'll keep you up to date if you go to those platforms and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Patreon page if you want to sign up for classes. Patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Go to Tier 3. Tier 3 is the tier you want to join. That's going to give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month on Patreon, including the group ritual we do together at the end of the month. Keep in mind, when you do join, it doesn't just give you access from the day you join moving forward. It gives you access to everything in the archives, all right? That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, Tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. Don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. All right, the direct link to my podcast, to the social media pages, to the Patreon page, to sign up for classes. The social media pages, my contact email address, all of those links are in the description box of the video that you're watching right now. All right. So having said that, before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button. Very important. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell so you get all notifications every time I go live or post a new video. All right. Other than that, let's get into it. It's going to be a short video. We have a ritual coming up in a couple of weeks on the Goetia Malphus. For those that are familiar with Malphus or working with Malphus, or I'm sure a lot of people on the path of the occult work with the Goetias, but something I want to reiterate. There's a lot of books, okay, before probably, in the last 15, 20 years, but a lot of the older books, or be careful, a lot of books in general that are written on the Goetias, and I've mentioned this before, it's very important you do the background research of authors that you are following, or authors that you're subscribed to, especially with the Goetias, because I found there are a lot of Christian authors who have They're either fascinated or interested about the Goetians, and when you're reading it from that mindset and that perspective, it's not the same thing. So I would make sure you're doing the research on what material you're studying when it comes to the Goetia. Just wanted to throw that out there, but I wanted to really just focus on Malphus as being a great deconstructor and reconstructor type of Goetia, right? Workings with him. Malphus is a very unique type of energy or spiritual archetype that you work with, because he can bring high levels of wisdom and knowledge, but he is really a very powerful kind of deconstructive type of goetic entity. Now, we're going to be doing a ritual working with Malphus in a ritual, as I said just a minute or two ago, that we're going to do in about 2 weeks. So what is good to focus on? Now, let me say this too. As I've always said, keep this in mind. Everything we pretty much do on the occult, okay? Everything we pretty much do on the occult has some form of shadow work or some form of uncovering the hidden and shadow self. Ritual work, regardless of what pantheon you're working with, regardless of what grimoire or system you're working with, it's always some form of working on the shadow or the hidden self, uncovering the hidden gnosis about yourself. So I say that to say Malphus is a great Goetia where one can incorporate things that they might be working on in their shadow work. But one thing I would always make the practitioner very aware of, the change with Malphus can be very rapid and intense, like some other archetypes or deities. So one must always be prepared for that. And one thing I always tell people when you're working on this path, one, please get out of your mind. Sometimes people have this preconceived notion of what the change is, excuse me. Sorry about that. Radio popped on. But yeah, as I said, sometimes people have a preconceived notion of how that change is supposed to come. Don't put yourself in that position. I say that because if you're working to change something on your spiritual path, if you got a blockage or issue or something you're trying to rectify, these type of entities will bring the change about, quote unquote, by any means necessary. And sometimes it's not really the way you might have mapped it out in your mind, or the way you may have conceived in your mind how you want it to happen. It can be very destructive. And sometimes, like for an example, just so we're clear on what I'm talking about, sometimes I've seen people go to work because they're struggling in life. Let's just say they're struggling with finances, or they're struggling with different aspects of consistency in their overall quality of life for a multitude of reasons. And they go to work with, say, a archetype like Malphus, and then you might find out in this working your significant other, whether that's husband, wife, or whatever, could be the root cause of why you're struggling. And then sometimes that's removed out of your path, when in your mind you never even conceived that in any shape, form, or fashion, because you're thinking it's something else, or you're thinking it's something you're not sure of, or this or that. It's gonna go to work on the root of your problem. Now, I've seen this happen a lot with people, and they're not aware of it genuinely. Then there's some are, and they're in denial. And as I said before, sometimes the thing that's holding you back, unfortunately, and hope that's not the case for many, is the person you're going to sleep with every night. What do I mean by that? You know, as adults, especially as grown-ass adults, I still see too many people in toxic relationships and finding excuses to stay in them. You see women with grown-ass men who want to stay at home all day, play PlayStation, and smoke weed, and ain't making no effort to get a job, a profession, a skill, a trade, a career, nothing. While the woman going out, busting ass, working all day, and then coming home and seeing some brokey broke on her couch. And it's the flip side too. You got women who are gold diggers and stupid men who fall for it. They just let them be gold diggers. They go out busting their ass while the woman's just spending the money. I'm just saying, sometimes it's those things that are creating issues for people. You're either in denial or you're not aware. But when you're in denial and you know, that's worse, because then the other issue that arises with this, and this comes up a lot, is people will be in a bad relationship, a toxic relationship, or some of them, here's even the more twisted part, some know it's not going to be good before they even get into it, but here's the problem. But they think they're going to change that person somewhere down the line. Or I can change him, I can change her, I can get them the way they need to be. Let me just get them, let me just, scoop them up and get them first, and then I'll figure that part out later. It never works, people. It never works. So the change can come out of nowhere and catch you completely off guard, to the point, like a lot of other things on this path, it can turn your life upside down, your career, your personal life, family life, etc. Remember, as I've said, when you're working on this path with these type of archetypes and entities, you're basically coming before them saying, look, take everything apart and let's put it back together again. And it's the deconstructive process that when that hits hard and it hits rapid and it hits quick, it can be very overwhelming for some individuals to be prepared for. So Malphus is one of those Goetians, right? Malphus comes, he has a warrior-like energy. He has energy of mysticism, Gnosticism, unveiling the illusionary aspect of the self and bringing out or activating the personal daemon or the higher true self of the individual, which really is the core of shadow work, right? So this came up in a recent discussion I had with somebody. How did these all tie in a recent consultation session I did? And it was a great question the person asked. So let me, real quick. They all tie in because shadow work and your personal daemon, shadow work is how the personal daemon is awoken or awakened within. Because shadow work is about stripping the illusionary aspects of yourself away and activating the true and higher self. Well, Malphus is one of those Goetians that does that. Brings about abrupt change. Now, one other aspect I wanted to talk about Malphus real quick before the video ends. There will be some people who will work with Malphus for destructive magic or destructive reasons, if they're launching an attack on another or they're doing rituals to attack somebody who might be suppressing or attacking them. And most definitely Malphus can be used for that. Now, I want to reiterate, destructive magic, black magic, sorcery, all that type of stuff is very real. It exists. But I teach people to have a certain level of understanding and perspective when working with black magic, dark sorcery, and doing it with due diligence and exercising wisdom, right? I never teach anybody just out of spite because you just hating on somebody or you trying to get revenge on somebody for some personal nonsense. I don't encourage people to randomly attack people using black magic, because in the long run, in the end, at some point it never turns out good for that person. Regardless if they think in the beginning they do it and they gotten the results they wanted, instead of saying you got to pay the piper somewhere down the line. And if you understand how those spirits work when used in that fashion, you will be required to give something of yourself. And some people are not equipped to do that. Okay, it's a whole different understanding, and I always tell people, always have respect for it, don't abuse it. So I don't teach people to just randomly personal, reasons to just go around using destructive magic and working with entities and demons, gods and goddesses and spirits, attacking people for their own personal gain and need, just for the fuck of it. Okay? So, if you're being attacked and you've exhausted all options and you're in full right to protect yourself, then you can launch a full-blown attack and do what you need to do, because it's about being justified and being in the right. And black magic or destructive magic should not be utilized unless your life is in danger, you've exhausted all options, and the situation is beyond critical. Okay? Now, look, I know there's probably some of you watch this video, you probably see people on the internet, on YouTube, or you might know people in general. That's what they do. It's their specialty. But I can tell you